Hey everyone, thank you again. Hi there. Thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you for joining us, your first episode, or you've been with us since the beginning. We can't thank you enough that you would take any time out of your day to join us. So thank you. Uh, it is well known that we are a charity, 501(c)(3) nonprofit, accept donations. If you're able to, great. If you're not able to, great. But what's free is giving us that thumbs up, subscribing, liking, sharing, those types of things. Those are free. We would very much appreciate that. Right now, uh, uh, we're a small organization, a small TV show and podcast with a small amount of uh, followers and people that are really what keeps us going, what gives us that high octane to want to, you know, to continue on. There's a lot of things in life, a lot of things in life, a lot of things. You take the easy way, and who doesn't like something that's easy? Or you can take, if presented, maybe a little bit harder way. Anyways, let's uh let's 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 get her going here. You won't be able to see totally because how the shirt is, but I have the one and only Voices for Voices shirt that has been in and around the United States of America and across the world. This is the very first Voices for Voices shirt ever designed, ever made. I still have it, and I haven't worn it for quite a while. And I wanted to wear it for this episode because nothing that's worth something is easy. People come and go, organizations come and go. Things aren't easy anymore. Things may seem impossible. I'll tell you what, with God, with Jesus Christ, nothing is impossible. He gives me strength, gives you strength. If you're a believer, if you're not, if you uh, have another religion, another another following, that's okay. Again, just sharing information, opinions, thoughts, experiences, things, tips, tricks, what have you. And you ultimately get to decide. Freedom of speech is a beautiful thing, especially here in the United States of America. And that is a cornerstone of the United States Constitution, free speech. And so you may have tuned into a earlier episode where we did quite a show, popular show, where we talked about that for quite a bit, majority of the show. And what can I say? The organization Voices for Voices, myself, Justin Allen Hayes, everybody that's associated. It was somebody, a confidant, a person, anybody that has joined us at any point. Maybe you're with us at the beginning and whatever reason went a different way. That's okay. We that's that freedom of speech, freedom to make that decision. How does that make you feel when you get to make that decision? Makes me feel good. Have at times maybe we thought we were being silenced, coming after whatever. If you don't like a fact, if you don't like information, you don't get to tell another person that they're not entitled to their opinion, their thoughts. And especially when information is shared and shown and spoken about and that. So no, we're not going to like everything. We're not going to like everybody. I'm not, you're not. No, it's it is our hope that we're able to help again that big number of 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. But it doesn't mean that those 3 billion are going to like me, like our organization. They may like being helped though. I like being helped. We share, we talk, we converse. We do lots of things in the short amount of time we're on Earth. And it's beautiful to be able to talk and share. And even just us having, and I got goosebumps here because I'm thinking about the mere fact that, yeah, we have this huge goal of wanting to help 3 billion people. What about one? What if we help one? What if we help one person who's contemplating ending their life and they don't for whatever reason? Maybe it's a quote from us, from a guest of ours. that that's why we do what we do. We have big goals, but we also have a big God, and there's nothing he can't do. There are miracles that there's nothing he can't do. We may have low faith at times, higher at others. One, if we're able to help one person to step forward and say, you know what, I like Dan Reynolds, a lead singer of Imagine Dragons, talks about his therapy journey, and he continues it to this day, and I do too. And so maybe that one person says, you know what, I'm one of the 100,000 people at this concert, and I just heard Dan Reynolds, lead singer of Imagine Dragons, talk about therapy. And therapy may have been a word that we didn't like to talk about. We just said, yeah, yeah, yeah. Therapy, it's for wimps, it's for not strong people. But I was at this concert or that concert, and I heard him talk just person to person. Yeah, he's at the front of the stage. He's not in the nosebleeds like in the one song he has that they have. But he's sharing his experience, his thoughts. And I bet you if you ask Dan, I don't know, I invite him to come with us, be a guest on our show. We'd love to have you on, Dan. Any other members of Imagine Dragons, we'd love to have you on. Open invitation. You let us know. We'll make it happen. But if Dan helps one person, maybe that person's you. Maybe you're at that 100, you're one of the 100,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 at a sold out Imagine Dragons show, and you're there for the music. And then you hear Dan, and what's he do? He shares about him. He doesn't have to. Excuse me. I don't have to. Others don't have to. But if you're there and therapy's been not in your vocabulary for whatever reason, and he talks about that, and you think, wow, I came here for music, entertainment, and this gentleman, he's talking about real life stuff, day-to-day stuff, moment to moment stuff. And maybe I thought about therapy, but for whatever reason, didn't do it, then didn't reach out. Too easy just to not do it. Uh, and so that's part of Voices for Voices. We want to amplify voices that can help others, that can share, inspire. And if that person's you or somebody you know, and you reach out and say, you know what, inside your mind, I'm going to swallow my pride. I'm going to swallow my ego. I can't do this on my own. I need help. I need to talk to somebody. I just need to vent. I need to share. I need somebody to listen to me. And you reach out and you go to one visit And maybe that one visit turns into two, and that two turns into three. Maybe you only have to come once a month. Maybe it's once every 2 months. I don't know. But after you leave, whether it's an in-person or virtual session, you don't know what it is. You don't know why you're feeling that way, but you feel just a little bit maybe lighter, maybe a little easier to process information, think. Maybe that maybe that happens. Maybe that's you. Or maybe you know somebody that can benefit. And by you being at that Imagine Dragon show, maybe there's somebody you know that they'll listen to you. They'll at least hear you out. And what that person is thinking about taking their life. And they have a plan and it's written out or it's in their mind and how they're going to do it, whatever. And and then they get a call or they get a text or they get a knock on the door or they get a chat on any number of apps. And who is it? It's you. And you don't know this person is where they're at, don't know what they're going through. Because sharing is hard. It's hard to share. It's hard to talk. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't go to therapy is because they're like, they're going to be asking me all these questions and they're going to be intruding into my life. They're going to ask me personal questions. And well, that's life. We're human beings. We have brains, we have thoughts, we have good thoughts, we have thoughts that aren't so great here and there. We're good at some things, we're not so good at others. That's life. Somebody likes me and they don't like me, they won't listen to me. Uh, that's life. It's a hard thing to hear. It's not something that's talked about in schools a lot. And it needs to be. It needs to be part of curriculum, how to handle traumatic events. One that it has touched us at one point or another, and that's the loss of a loved one going to heaven. That we pray they're on going to heaven. And I got goosebumps again because again, I'm a human being. I've experienced loss of people I know, people I love, my dad, and nothing can prepare you, me, others for how we react, how we process things. Some faster, some slower, some impact one way or impact the other way. And so we all have gone through and are going to continue to go through traumatic events. And it's up to educators, it's up to not just educators, because we know that we don't have to go to college or university if we don't want to. Maybe we're an entrepreneur. Maybe we start our own business. And then other people are looking up to you. because you need to hire an extra person because business is picked up, and that one person has a family, has people, and as a human race, life's worth living. And I mean, I'll be straight up like I always am. It's a very hard thing to think about. It's even harder to talk about. You may think, oh, Dan Reynolds, Imagine Dragons, oh, it's easy to talk about. They travel the world and they got whatever money and uh, whatever houses and mansions and cars or whatever. They're able to take private jets and it doesn't matter. I'm just an average, regular human being. And in the past, there's been, thoughts that have crept into my mind at one time or another for one reason or another of, wow, why am I, what am I doing living? What am I gonna, what am I supposed to do? Is it to sit in an office? And I've done my fair share of sitting. That's one of the things that I would like to improve on when you're on vacation and you're in other environments where walking is just a little bit easier, walking on the beach versus walking on the sidewalk. I mean, it sounds much better when we say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm for a walk on the beach." But to get back to, life it's hard and it's hard enough without others to put us down, to try to control our lives, to say, no, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to have free speech when I don't agree with every single thing you're saying. And they'll do that one time. They'll do it a second, a third, a fifth, a tenth, a 50th, a hundredth. And so when I say life's hard, life is hard. We think about, the end of our days on earth where we're of as close to sound mind as can be. One thing I don't want is to be at that present here thinking. So if you would ask me 20 years ago, I'd probably have a different answer. But as we share this episode, we talk, listen, we watch. At the end of at the end of my days, whenever that is, and that's the thing, we don't know when it is, when it's going to be. And so that's why it's so important because at the end of my days, I want to be able to think that no, I wasn't perfect. I wasn't special. I wasn't the richest person, money wise. I didn't have the biggest houses. I didn't have the fastest cars. I didn't have this. I didn't whatever that is. You know what I want to think about? And what I want to think about, I put things that have gone on in my life and invited others to the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast and other means of sharing a good experience, a bad experience. But I just I put it out on the line because it's hard. Life is hard. And to know, or that I hope to have the thought and the thoughts of, you know what, Justin, at the end of the day, I want to know that I put it out there. I shared. I did the best that I could. And while that may sound cliche, oh, do the best you can, do the best you can. And no, it's true. As a child growing up, we do the best we can. Maybe we succeed, maybe we don't. Uh, but as you grow, and as I grew, and I'm still growing, and I'm still learning, sharing and talking to my therapist, that I finally swallowed my pride. I swallowed my ego. I told myself, Justin, you can't do this alone. And that I'm pretty sure that I was able to help somebody. So that's the one. It's not going to be, oh, I didn't reach this goal or that goal. When we try, we don't know what's possible until we find out what's possible. And then life is hard, and there's going to be some moments, experiences that are going to seem overwhelming, down, depressing. And so that's what I want to have, that as much a peace of mind as possible at the end of my days. And it's a hard thing to talk about, but I don't want to live in regret. I don't want to say, well, Justin, you had the opportunity to talk and share and express yourself in the organization Voices for Voices, and that I have this guest instead of that, and say no. And I don't I don't want to I don't want that to happen. I want to do the best I can and to help one person. And so Voices for Voices, we're real, we're down to earth, and we love free speech as well as you should too. Thank you tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the show. If you can give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, all that free stuff, we would appreciate that. And until next time, I'm Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. And as always, please be a voice for you or somebody in need. We'll see you next time.